Now I was initially going to make this with chicken. Then I said, let's make this vegetarian. And when you make this and bake this, you get this beautiful golden color on top, crispy and flaky crust which you can just crack into, scoop out a big piece, and you, my friends, would have made a beautiful mushroom pot pie. And trust me, after eating one bite, there will be no silence because this recipe is bomb. Alright, the recipe has very little prep work. You can get this done in 30 minutes. A choice of different kinds of vegetables. Now for the mushrooms, I've chosen some button mushrooms along with some oyster mushrooms. Mushrooms are a great way to substitute meat. They have a really nice umami to them and a lovely meaty texture which just works for this recipe. I'm going to heat up some butter along with a little bit of oil in a pot. Into this, we're going to add some finely chopped onions along with some finely chopped garlic. Add a little bit of salt and just saute this on medium heat till the onions go translucent. Once the onions are translucent, I'm going to start adding the mushrooms to this. Get the heat to a high and start frying the mushrooms. Mushrooms have a lot of water content, so if the heat is not high, it'll just accumulate in the pan and become like a stew. I want to fry the mushrooms and get a nice golden color on them, so set the heat on high. Don't worry, it won't burn, just keep stirring it around. Within about 3 minutes, the mushrooms will cook. Season it with some pepper, and next I'm going to add the vegetables to this. I have par cooked the vegetables because this doesn't bake for too long in the oven, so it's a good option to actually just par cook them halfway and then saute them over here. I've used carrots, cauliflower and broccoli. You can add any other vegetables that you want. You can also season it with some herbs. I'm using some oregano. You can add thyme, rosemary, whatever you can find. Fry this for 2 minutes, then we're going to add the refined flour to this. It's not too much, it's just there to thicken the milk when you add the milk. Make sure to set the heat at low, otherwise the bottom of the pan will start to burn. And once it's cooked, we're just going to add the milk to this. After adding the milk, just scrape off the bottom of the pan, just clean that up and mix everything together. Set the heat to a medium and just let this simmer. It'll thicken in exactly 30 seconds. Gonna give it some heat with some chili flakes and some freshness with some chopped parsley. A quick stir and you can see the consistency. It's just coating the vegetables really beautifully. Check the salt levels and this is ready to be taken out. Now I'm using a casserole like this to bake this. You can use a cake tin if you have. One of the issues I found, the puff pastry sheet which I had was too small for the diameter of this baked dish. They're pre-cut into these tiny squares and it just won't work. So I'm just going to dust some flour on my work surface and stick 4 sheets together like this. Just overlap them and stick them together, and I'm going to run the rolling pin over it. Don't flatten it too much. As it is, I don't want too many layers to form while I bake this, and just get it wide enough to cover your baked dish. So into the casserole goes in the mushroom base that we had prepared. Just fill it up nicely because this doesn't rise, so don't worry about any spillage. Place the puff pastry sheet over it and just pinch the sides and take off the excess. I'm using a spatula to just press the puff pastry from the sides and just tuck it in nicely so that when this bakes, all the puff pastry is just within that diameter. An additional thing that you can do is just score the puff pastry really gently. Not too deep, you don't want to cut all the way through. Just these thin lines in a diagonal pattern. This just gives a beautiful presentation when this bakes. Also for a lovely rich golden color, I'm just brushing it with some egg wash. If you don't eat egg, you can just brush it with some butter if you want, or you can just skip this step completely. On top of this, we're going to sprinkle some white and black sesame seeds, and this goes to bake in the oven for just 15 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius. And within that time, a beautiful flaky and crispy crust would have formed with that lovely color, and this is just ready to be served, my friends. So just crack it open, dig into it and enjoy the recipe, my friends. And if you watched this video till here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, hit that bell icon, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.